Hey, everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Tuesday. So, I'm going to talk about 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After. But guess what? Kimberly is out with a back injury, and we are hoping she gets better because there's nothing worse in the world than pulling out your back. Old ladies are really doing it. So, I have my friend Amy Archer here from Little Miss Recaps going to help me out today. Hey, girl.
Hi, bunkies. Hi, Mary Payne. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances.
I know, bless her.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I think she said that she couldn't even record her Dateline episode this weekend. Like, she can't move.
Yeah, that's rough. I've been there.
I've been there too, but not for that long. I've had it for like a day and a half where like I was finally able to, with muscle relaxers, get to the doctor to get a shot, you know?
Yeah.
I think she's done all that and it's still not better. So, woo.
Well, we love you, Kimberly. Hope you're getting better.
Kimberly is a little tiny person just like you.
Do you know I took my girls to the doctors yesterday? No, a couple days ago. And the doctor said I just had one of them with me. And she said, okay, you're done growing. You've hit your peak. And her peak is 5'3".
Look at her go.
And she said, Mom, how tall are you? I'm like, 5.5 And Dad is 6 foot. So this is right where the target was. So
yeah,
5'3".
Well,
that's it.
My husband's 6'4". I'm 5'4". John is 6'1".
Oh, good height.
Anna's about 5'8".
Okay.
So
right.
I am the little meatball of my family.
Okay, I'm definitely the meatball of my family, 100%.
Yeah.
How are we doing with fixing up my one daughter with John? Is that still on the table?
It's still on the table.
Okay.
He doesn't have a new girlfriend.
Okay.
He does have a date to the prom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I know about that. There's nothing more going on there.
Okay. Same. We've gotten rid of the boyfriend.
Thank Jesus and all the Buddhas.
I still feel like we're not in the total clear with that, but we've made progress. And she has a date to the prom.
Different dude,
but like friend date.
That's okay.
So that's fine. So we'll see what happens. But still holding out for a Mary Payne Gilbert, Amy Archer merger.
Wouldn't that be great? Kate Casey was saying she wanted her daughter, who I believe is like 14, to marry John. And
no, back off, Kate Casey, back off.
I said, well, first of all, that's not legal. And second of all, can the wedding be in the OC? Because that's where she lives. And she was like, fuck no, it's too expensive, too snobby to have a wedding here. We'd go to Hawaii. I was like, yes.
You're not getting a trip to Hawaii here. If I'm paying a dowry for Penelope, it's going to be like, I don't know, a John Deere tractor we have laying around on the property that's 10 years old. You can have that. We could have, what we could do up here? We could have like a beautiful barn wedding.
Yes.
Repurposed barn, and we could do all that. But she'll be 18 in December, so.
She's more age appropriate then.
She's more age appropriate. Mm-hmm. She wants to go to law school, though, so we'll see what happens.
Well, that would be great because John definitely is going to make it through the 4 years only.
Okay.
So Penelope can be the brains of that operation.
Well, we'll see. Jury's still out on a lot of things.
Well, good for her. Good for her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is Penelope the one that's in the bed with the migraine?
No, that's Samantha.
Samantha. Okay. Because I was about to say if it was where they could be migraine twins because my son's also in the bed with migraine.
Yes.
Such good times, guys. Such good times.
Do whatever you have to do. Pull out all the stops to get rid of those migraines because they're as annoying as they are for our children. They're more annoying for us.
I bought off Instagram the other day some device that like goes in your ear and you press it and it like adds pressure or removes pressure in your sinuses, and that's supposed to help with migraines. I'm like, he's in the bed with a migraine. I'm sticking a device in his ear, pumping air into his ear canal. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, does it help?
Do you have the whole head mask?
Yeah.
My kid has the whole head mask.
The one that's like you freeze. We have the we have 2 of those. Yeah, guys, he's about to get the whole head Botox. So that's been recommended for a while. And it's not being approved by the insurance. So I'm still going to submit it. They'll probably give me like $4 back. But
I would definitely submit it. My daughter, it's definitely emanating from her neck. So the chiropractor has helped her. Okay. But she hasn't been there in a while. And she was laying around, donging around, like I say, all weekend in her bed, watching her
Yep.
phone.
Yeah.
So, like, now
Mhm.
her neck's hurting her.
Of course.
Hmm.
Yes. Can we talk about this phrase "donging around"?
I don't know where I picked that up.
Okay, because this is now about the second or third time you've said it,
Just
and I'm
donging
concerned.
around.
Okay, all right. It's just like laying around with your dong out. Like I don't know.
Just fucking around. That kind
Okay,
of, yeah.
all right,
Yeah. There
all
we
right.
go.
Just
We're 5 minutes in. I'm dropping the F bomb.
say what
You
you
can't
mean
let me
what you
anywhere
say.
near the public feed.
Oh Lord. Well, let's get into the show. Amy, you don't cover this show on Little Miss Recap,
Mm-mm,
but
do
and
not.
you're not, and you're only kind of half watching it.
Yeah, I've been watching it. I mean, I love 90 Day
Anything,
Nulls
90 Day.
Incarnation, so I
Yeah.
will watch it. But it's a show that I usually have on like in the background while I'm doing
Yep.
other things.
Hmm.
Whereas everything else, like we're covering Sister Wives, I'm laser focused.
Yeah.
But this one I still love it, still watch it, but not covering.
Okay. Well, this is season 8, episode 5, Fuss in Boots, because they're all fairy
Fairy
tale.
tales,
So Puss in Boots, Fuss in Boots doesn't. I mean, I get it. I get what they're trying to do,
I guess.
but
And then
mm-mm.
I was like, who is fussy? And then I realized everybody's kind of fussy.
Right. So Tim's not on here. He's generally pretty fussy.
Oh, Tim. Tim and his
But
purity. Purity.
it's all about purity with Tim.
Mhm.
He's not going to make out with you unless you've got the purity. Meanwhile, he's over on the, that other tell-all being like, I had a 3-way with so-and-so. I was like,
Mhm.
how pure is that?
Yep.
Yeah. Um, so we'll start with Emily and Kobe.
Come back.
So she is talking to her mom and they're going to go watch Kobe play handball, and she's telling her mom about their dinner date last night. And she says she has concerns about Kobe's friends not liking her. Kobe was a former professional handballer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't understand. Handball is like soccer, but with your hand?
Okay, I was hoping you knew because
I mean,
I don't.
I was trying to watch. I was like, so it's not like tennis. There's no net, but there are
Yeah.
goals at the end that are
Mm.
smaller than soccer nets,
Hmm.
smaller than lacrosse nets.
Yeah.
So
Don't know.
maybe it's like lacrosse or soccer, but only with your hands.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps.
So he says he was one of the best players around because he could play with both hands, and he's hoping everyone has a good impression of Emily there. Players give Kobe and Emily some uniforms. Why Emily's was different, it's unclear.
Well, because she's a girl. She
She's
has
a
to wear
girl.
different clothes.
But they were giving her a hard time about not playing. I was like, are girls allowed to play?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody ever wants me on their team, so I don't understand this.
Me either. Always picked last. Always picked last. And Kobe puts on his knee brace. It looks like the Bionic Man. It looks like the one my husband had after his ACL surgery.
Right.
Yeah. Not a man that should be running around on wet concrete.
Now, let me ask you, since your husband had the surgery,
Okay.
what is the recovery like for this?
It's long. It's
Like, it's
PT.
long and you can't
yeah.
do anything. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that he had a couple of months ago that he would fly. But I guess after that month, my mom's about to have a knee replacement, and
Mhm.
she was told she can't fly for 1
Right.
month.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't mean you can't drive to come to John's graduation, but that's just a guilt trip that I'm doing.
I support that.
Times have turned. Yeah, I can guilt trip too.
Mhm.
So that's a sidebar. So he had ACL reconstruction. So we see Grandpa. This is Kobe's dad. Grandpa and Emily and Coben in the stands cheering. Is so cute because Grandpa's just looking at his grandson. Is like, and then of course
Very
Emily
cute.
she's trying to do the right thing. She's like, say hi to your grandpa. Do you want to hold his hand? It's really cute. It's
Mhm.
really cute. They're playing on the wet concrete. Like,
This
that
is a disaster. This was like the first time. Have you ever been to Seattle?
yes.
Like the first time I was ever in Seattle, I'm like, how is falling not a national holiday here? Like, how are people just not falling all over the place? It was
Yeah.
wet, it was tilted, and
Yeah. Cracked concrete.
being a meatball on two little toothpicks, which are my legs, like I just don't have good balance. So running around on wet concrete, no. Mm-mm. No,
The visual I've got of 2 toothpicks with a meatball on top with like 2 little eyes with glasses. Hi, I'm Amy.
I do. I just have bad balance. I'm off kilter all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So this is no. I don't even know how he's still standing.
That was crazy to me that everybody didn't blow a knee out.
Yeah,
Everybody's just
right.
on the side with knees blown out. I just couldn't believe it. So they're cheering. It's cute. And Kobe seems to make a handball move if we don't know what it is. And then he limps off. And they're like, uh-oh, he's hurt. He's hurt.
Hmm.
So she goes to check on him. Now, from my kids, no, what kids? One kid. From one kid being in sports, I know as the mom, you're not supposed to go over there and check.
Same, same. You let
Supposed
that kid cry on the field until they give you the signal if they would like you to come over. You do not go over.
They writhe around in pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The coach helps them off. The
Yep.
teammates take a knee, the whole thing.
Yep.
But you don't go over there.
I agree. Both of my girls are in lacrosse, and I would never, could not do it.
Emily hops up to go check on him. I mean, I remember one time, I've told this story before, my nephew Thompson got hit real hard playing football. I was watching it. This is why I would never allow John to play football. He got hit in the head, like watching him, and then he comes
Wow.
off the field. He's immediately vomiting in a trash can.
Oh, that's not good.
And we were watching. Now, his father, my brother-in-law, is a doctor. So I was like, So I'm saying to my sister, you should go down there. You should go down there. You should go down there. And she's like,
Yeah.
no, you don't. They were in high school. But her husband went, because it was halftime.
Yeah.
Her husband went down at halftime and sort of walked with him to the locker room
Mm-hmm.
and was asking the medical guy. But I was like, your kid just got hit in the head and is vomiting on the sidelines and you can't go down there? She was like, no.
Yeah. If I was a doctor, if I were a doctor,
Mhm.
then yes, I would run over there. And if it looked serious, just because
Yeah.
there's probably no other doctors.
Yeah. Well, they
It's
have like a
kinda
team
like-
doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the plane situation. Is anyone here a doctor? You know, then you want to
Right.
jump up.
Right.
But no, you don't go over. And you certainly don't go over and start like,
Are you
you know,
okay?
yeah, no.
I told you,
Mm-mm.
you got to elevate your leg.
You don't do an I told you so. That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So she's checking on him and the teammates are like, oh, what the heck is this lady doing? And she's like, you got to elevate it, babe. And I told you, you should take the ibuprofen and we need ice on that. And he goes, I know how to do it. You don't have to come and tell me. And she's like, he says, like, she means well, but this is bad, right? So then his buddy Valerie is like, Emily, are you okay? Like, why are you over here? And she goes, I'm great. He goes, okay, scoot on now. So Valerie says, this is not proper. This is my problem with the white lady. She's bossy and she does things the way she wants to do it. And this is not good. It's not good for
Okay, I want to
Kobe.
say something here.
Uh-huh.
As a basic white lady myself,
Yeah.
we do not claim her. This is a lot even for white ladies.
I claim Emily. I love her.
I like her too, but this is a lot. This is a lot. Here's the thing with Emily. I'm of two minds because I do think that she loves him and she's sweet and she's a good mom and she's a good daughter and all of those things.
Yeah.
But her energy is a lot for me. I'm like, I can't.
But I think that's what he really loves about her. He really loves how extra she is.
She's extra.
But when they get to Cameroon, he wants her to just be yourself like half. You know what I mean? Like just for the
25%.
Just this 2 weeks, just take it down.
Yeah.
Take it down.
Agreed.
So Valerie says, I was shocked when Emily was being pompous. And I worry about Kobe being married to this white woman because he's not going to get what he wants as a Cameroonian man. Now, I don't like this trope of she's pompous, she's arrogant. Who is she to speak her mind?
Right.
This is their culture. It's not for me to judge. But it's hard to listen to them saying, like, she shouldn't have an opinion. How do you deal with that? But I do love how Kobe's always like, look, we're equals. You know, I'm adapting to her culture. She's adapting to mine. I do like how he takes up for her, but he does just like want her to just take it down like 2 notches.
Yeah.
Like, don't baby me in front of my friends. I don't mind if you do it at home, you know?
Yeah, and you're right. And it is a cultural thing. And she, like she expects him to respect her culture, she has to respect his. And I do see her point of view, though, because when you are a mom and you have 2 kids with someone, you need, like, the one that suffers when he's immobile is her.
Yeah, right.
So she's like, I fucking told you so. Like, why are you doing this? I get that, but that's stuff you say in private.
But we're in this foreign country where we know no one.
Right.
And if you're down, what are we going to do? We got to all hotel?
Right. But again, private conversations.
Right. So Valerie and Lucia say, our wives advise us what to do, but they don't tell us what to do. And Kobe says, look, I tell her not to be bossy, but I don't let her culture overshadow mine, and I don't want to overshadow hers, vice versa. We try to make it fair, and we're working on it. So, like, we're just a work in progress, as friends go. We just want to be happy. He says, I want you guys to be happy for me and know that we're working on it. And they go, yeah, she should do better.
We've
Uh,
seen a lot of families go to a lot of different countries on this show, and I have to say, like, Emily's family, I think, is doing the best job of this.
they're trying their hardest to make sure they're super respectful.
Absolutely.
We haven't heard any, this food is gross
Nope.
or ew or any of that.
Mm-mm.
So he says in his talking head, he says, I do appreciate what my friends are saying, and I think about it, but I want them to think of her and know her in a positive way. But I need her to be respectful of being in Africa, but she just likes to do things her way. Um, and then their buddies continue with we wish the best for you, but we don't think you're going to be happy being married to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
So in her talking head, he says, Emily treated me like a baby when I hurt my knee. And I asked her for one thing on this trip. Don't be bossy. But I don't see it as being bossy. I see it as being concerned. But they kind of put everything into the
Yeah.
category of bossy.
Yeah. It
Speaking your
wasn't
mind.
bossy.
No,
It was annoying and it was a lot, but it wasn't bossy. It was
bossy.
coming from a place of concern. It was like overly mothering.
Yes, yes. So now all the guys are hanging out after the game, and Emily walks up, and they're, telling her, that Kobe was such a handball star because he could play with both hands and all that. And they were sad when he went to China, but then he came back, but then he left for the white lady. That's you. And she goes, so I hear you guys have concerns about the relationship and me. And Valerie says, we just know about the white women. They could be bossy and authoritative. And
Mm,
she goes, yep, that's right. Yep, to all that. We were also very family driven, very good housewives, very good mothers, very good wives. And they said, yeah, we don't really believe that. We're concerned he will lose his dignity as a Cameroonian man. And she says, I treat him like a king, but he also treats me like a queen.
I
And
thought she handled this conversation really well.
I did too.
Like, that was the perfect way. Like, she heard them, but she addressed their concerns. Like,
Yeah,
I thought she handled it well.
I thought she did too, because she's still standing her ground,
Right. She's not
and
backing down.
Valerie says, well, we heard you complain about his knee and tell him not to play. And Alicia says, you spoke authoritatively and you did it in public.
Right.
And she goes, oh, okay. So I could speak authoritatively, but only in private. And then they explain, like, yeah, and another problem we have is that Kobe lives in his father-in-law's house, so he can't take our traditions. He has to be submissive to your father. And
Right.
Valerie says, if you live with your in-laws, it's taboo because as a man, you lose your dignity. But I mean,
Trust me, they're not the only people who have a problem with them living in the parents' basement. I'm sure Kobe hates every minute of it. And as a parent, I'm sure the parents hate every minute of it. So,
he, when I met them or it was the interview I did with them, they
Mhm.
said that, they want to have 5 kids. He's one of 10 or she's one of 4. They want to have 5 kids, but they definitely were not going to do the 3rd kid until they had their own place in Salina.
But they just did, right?
Right. But
Didn't
I
they
don't
just
think they
have the
live in,
third kid?
yeah, but I don't think they live in the basement anymore.
Oh, they're
I
out.
think, I
Okay.
think they moved out. They haven't
Okay.
said it because maybe it's going to play out on the show.
Okay. Gotcha.
Um, So, da, 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 da. So Emily says, look, I understand your culture. I do. And, I just don't want you telling him we're not going to be happy in our marriage. Like, that's not cool. Like,
Right.
relax on that. And they go, yeah, now we've met you and we're glad that we got to tell you our worries. And we're happy. He's happy. Whatever. But whatever.
They're
Bossy. Go on
they're
over,
like the
bossy.
goofballs 2.0.
Yeah.
They're a better version of the goofballs.
They're a better version of the goofballs. They're not quite as mean. And
Right.
also, the whole time she's talking to them, she's sort of smiling. So I was like, is this sort of set up where they told her, but they weren't smiling at
Right.
all? So if it was set up, they were
Right.
not told. They are taking this conversation real seriously.
Yeah.
So Valerie tells her, before he went to China, he had this girlfriend in Cameroon and she thought, they were still together. And then he got this white woman pregnant in China. That's you, had to marry you. And the girlfriend thought they were still together. And Emily's like, when he was in China, he told me he was single. And they're like, no, he saw his girlfriend. She's like, news to me. And
Yeah.
she's like, I don't know if they're trying to stir the pot or what, but we'll see next week. Either way, who cares? They're married with 2 kids. Like, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I
And we'll
mean,
talk more about this with Rob and Sophie, but who cares? This is in the past.
and also, I think that the difference would be if she was pregnant and he was dating this other girl when he was
Right.
planning to come on the K-1 visa to the States.
The only thing I would need clarification on here is when he came back, was he with this girl again?
Mhm.
Like, that's what I'd want a
During
little bit
COVID.
of clarification there.
Yeah, during COVID, did he hang out with this girl while she was working on the K-1 visa and had
Right.
a baby? Yeah,
Right.
and was nannying and lived in her parents' basement. Okay.
Yeah.
Jasmine and Gino. All right.
Mm.
So she has walked off and he follows her with the wedding album, which, he's probably like, oh my God, it's $500. I can't believe I'm paying for the wedding. So she tells him, I'm depressed. I'm thinking about not seeing my children. I can't believe it. She's crying. She says, I'm really suffering and I don't want to lose you, but I am seriously considering just going back to Panama, not on a travel visa, nothing, just like ditch the whole
For
process.
good. Yeah.
And she says, I don't feel like you're there for me. You haven't spoken to me in days and I'm so upset. And he says, I feel bad about it. And I want to know what I can do to convince you to stay. Well, we already know the answer to
We
that.
know what you can do. $5,000 is what you can do.
Yeah. And get a job.
Take your sweet, sweet Matt Sharp money.
He's an
What are you
engineer.
doing with that?
Get a job.
Yeah.
He's a professional. So he lives in Michigan and he's a automotive engineer or whatever. I think he could find a job. Maybe
Look,
not. Maybe.
There have been times in my life where coming up with $500
Yes.
seemed impossible.
Yes.
But they're dumping money on a lot of things. He's got like a pool of some kind of money. Plus, he's on a reality show that pays him.
Right. Yeah.
So,
all of that. Nonstop reality shows for the last couple of years.
Right.
Never stops with these two. So, okay. So she says, you have to start, working on the documents for my kids and everything like ASAP and the travel documents for the kids and the green card for me and the blah, blah, blah. And so he says, yeah, I'll work on the kids' paperwork and I'll work with the lawyer after I'm done with the paperwork to make sure it's good. It's a compromise.
Yeah, he's not saying what she thinks he's saying.
No. And so he says, what can we do to get back to normal? Which is what? Yelling at each other and, So she says, I want you to put your ego aside and be more empathetic to my pain. Because, he was I did it right. She's like, you obviously did it wrong.
Right.
He says, I'm sorry. I feel bad about that. And they're talking head together. And he says, he still doesn't have the $5,000, but they will have the lawyer look it over once he's done with the paperwork and ready to submit it to make sure he didn't miss anything.
I think we need more information on this. I think if Gino said to her, I don't have the $5,000, I can't, we used our sweet, sweet Matt Sharp money on XYZ. I can't mortgage anything else against my house because I can't take out a loan because I don't have a job.
Right.
I can't do this. I can't do that. Maybe if he sat down and ran through the options and shows how he exhausted everything. But I think that's what she just needs to see, a little bit of
explanation, not just no.
Yeah, not just no.
Yeah, because she is the foreigner here and she just have to rely on him for everything.
Yeah.
And to ask for something so important to be like, no.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's hard with these two because there's so many seasons and so much yelling and so much crazy that you're
they're going to be on Last Resort, right? We've heard this. Is it true? Do we know?
I don't know.
I don't know if I want them on there.
So, okay. She says she's going to have to rethink what the future with Gino looks like because of all the stuff that he's done. Hey, but now that things are better, they're going on a date. And she's like, it's been a while since we've been on a date. And he goes, no, remember I took you to that place with all the salad. And she goes, Gino, that was a place with the salad bar. He goes, yeah, but it was all that salad. That was a date.
Nobody wants to go out and get a salad. Stop.
Do you think they went to Ruby Tuesdays because they have that amazing salad bar?
100%. 100%. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it was all you could eat salad bar, $5.99. Come on now. Yeah. So they're at this restaurant that kind of seems like a diner or whatever, but it's great. And she goes, oh, Gino, you're so handsome. I feel like I'm dating a USA president. Okay.
You can say a lot of things about President Biden. He does not look like Gino, and Gino does not look like President Biden, period.
or any USA president.
Or any is
I'm
she
trying to think of another one.
is she trying to imply like he looks like a hot young President Kennedy?
I think she's trying to imply he looks like a good-looking president.
Maybe like a President Ronald Reagan in his acting days? I don't know. I don't know.
A young Barack Obama?
He looks like none of those people.
No, he
None of
doesn't.
those people.
With his shark teeth and his little pointy nose. That's
No.
how she describes him, guys.
Nope, 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 nope.
I love his little shark teeth and his white legs.
She
So
is so hot for him. Doesn't that boggle your mind? Because I'm not going on looks here, okay? Everybody has their own taste, whatever. But like he's such an idiot sometimes. Like
well, I mean, he likes to pee on her, and she's fine with that. So
yeah, wow. I'm sure Jasmine could find a lot of men who would do that for her.
let's also remember she is on OnlyFans and probably makes $5,000 a month there. So
Oh, there we go. There we go.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm not buying this. They don't have $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on this date, and so she makes him do the Lady and the Tramp fettuccine moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so after they get to the end, he's like, "Oh God, gross!" ah." And then they're talking and she goes, "You'll forever look at fettuccine different. Whenever you see it, you'll see our lips and our tongues are touching and entwining." And so he's like, "Oh, baby." Okay.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Take it down a notch.
So they eat, and she says, "I'm happy, and I'm just so happy to be with you. I do enjoy your company, and I really want to express my gratitude to you for what you're doing for my children." And then they talk about like having kids of their own because he still wants to have one of his own. And she's like, "I just got to tell you, when I had my kids, I was in my 30s. And now, she was in her young 30s, I guess, because now she's 36, maybe 37.
Yeah.
And she's like, by the time I have a kid, I might be 40. And I got to tell you, like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. Plus, she'll have these other two, one is special needs. Like, it's a lot."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she says, like, "You're old. And like, you'll be like practically 60 by the time we have a baby." And he goes, "That's okay. Like, I'm up for it. I know I can do it." And she was like, "Okay.
You know what
You're
it is
sure
with
you're
these
ready."
two? It's like you watch just to see who's gonna mess up first and who's gonna take them to a fight. Because like
Mm,
you're watching and everything's going well, and you're like, okay, how is this gonna go spectacularly wrong in the next
right.
2 minutes?
In the
And then
next
of
two
course
minutes.
Gino has to bring something up. Why did you say I'm not a good father or whatever? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
here we go. Here we go.
So in her talking head, she says, "Honestly, I have to, my mother is sick in Panama. I'm trying to get this travel document so I can go see my
Yeah.
mother and see my children. My mom is sick. I got to get my kids to the US before I can even think of having kids. I don't know how I'm going to tell Gino this." Well, I don't know. I
I don't
mean,
know why Gino just doesn't go there. If he's an engineer, that is a skill that you can bring to other countries.
he could work for the Panama Canal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he can. He can work on the Panama Canal.
Panama Canal. So, all right, let's see who we're going to next. Oh, we're going to Patrick and Thais. That's a new couple this week.
I'm thrilled to see my buddy John. Love him.
But Buddy John, he's raking
Yeah.
in that sweet Matt Sharp money.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is. So we open with this cheesy intro. It looks like Patrick's lifting weights, but he's lifting baby Elise in the backyard. We
That
got
was kinda cute. That was
we
kinda
got
cute.
another knee injury.
Yes, we
Another
do.
knee injury.
Yes, we do.
It's a real old man in their corns
Yes, we do.
situation here.
Weightlifting is, I don't think people realize how hard weightlifting is on your body. Like my
Oh my
dad
God.
used to do it and it like ruined him. And then one of my chiropractors was a former power lifter and his body was all jacked up from it.
I mean, you look at Patrick compared to when they showed the pictures what he looked like before. And he has a regular size, beefy man body,
Mm-hmm.
but he was like 3 times that size before.
Yeah. Yep.
It's interesting because a lot of people that are like professional football players or these kind of weightlifters that have to bulk up so much muscle, they
Mhm.
literally end up on The Biggest Loser because they've got 200 pounds of like what was muscle now turns to fat. So whatever he's done, he did it correctly to bulk down.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's got to be real tricky
Yeah. Yep.
because you can't be that big forever. I mean, it's not sustainable.
How cute is that baby?
The baby's real cute.
Oh God. I just
The
want to
baby's-
I want to hold that baby. I want to like put her in my cheek and keep her there for a while, but the minute she cries or does anything else I want to give her right back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Unless it's just going to be brief. If it's brief, then it's okay.
Yeah.
So he's putting on his, robo knee brace and some ice. And she's annoyed with him because he did it playing flag football. We have a
Mhm.
friend, Ingrid. I was like, we have a friend. Her name is Ingrid. Ingrid's husband popped his Achilles
Mm.
playing flag football, like with a guy that our friend Sean, who's 6'7", probably 300 pounds, played football in college. And he was out playing flag football with him. And
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
tore his Achilles. So I understand the annoyance with that. So she's like, I'm annoyed that you did this like right before we had this huge trip planned to Brazil. He's like,
Mhm.
it's going to be fine. I just limp all over Brazil. It's going to be fine. She hasn't been back to Brazil in 2 years. Now we're reminded that he's half Brazilian, and that is why.
I forgot all about this.
So I guess John and Patrick have the same mom, different dads. And then the brother as well. I
No,
think they
I
have three
think they
different
have the
dads.
same dad.
Okay.
Because later he says John might want to come to Brazil to see dad, to see our dad or my dad. I don't know.
I thought
Now you
her
have me
dad.
wondering.
Yeah. I don't think John's dad lives in Brazil. You
I
guys,
don't know.
let us know.
I forget their season. It was so long ago, but I know
Yeah.
they did have a series of stepdads.
Right. That's
So
why I was
dad wasn't in
wondering.
their life.
I was wondering if
But
all three brothers have three different dads. Because that other brother looks nothing like these two.
right. Yeah.
Um, so he went on a trip to Brazil, and then he met Thais on an app. And, they talk about how they first met and how she thought he was like, ooh, like muscular and cute. And he was like, I got a 10. And at first, when she first, moved to the U.S., John was living with them, and we see some clips of that. And she says John is a pain in her ass. On their season, Thais did not speak one word of English, and now she's fluent.
Yeah, she's doing great. And I love the flashbacks when John's drinking a beer.
Yeah,
10 a.m.
yeah.
Says you do. Yeah.
She's like, "What's my
I
day
love
off?
him.
Do what I want."
Love him.
So, he says their biggest problem when they were together was that she didn't tell her dad. So she just said she was coming there to visit. She didn't say she was there on the K-1 visa. Didn't say she was there to get married. We
Right.
just had this with Clayton and Annalie.
Yep.
And she was just like, I'm just going to tell my dad I'm coming for a job. Anybody
Yeah.
going to ask any questions? What kind of job it is? Or where are you
Right.
going to live? Or no
And
one's
this
interested.
dad does not hold back.
No, and he's
He
hot too.
just
The
does.
dad's hot. Hot dad. Hot dad.
Hot dad alert.
Hot dad alert.
Is he a holdie?
He's a holdie.
Okay.
She's 26. I mean, he might be my age, but he's still a holdie.
He's probably my age, yeah.
So Patrick asked the dad if he could marry Thais, who said, no, I'm not happy with it. It's her decision, but whatever. Like, he was not thrilled.
Right.
But we see their wedding, which I completely forgot about. And right when they kiss, you hear John go, "Hey, we can party!" In the background, like, way to ruin it. Thais got pregnant the same week they got married.
That is wild.
That's wild.
I know a lot of people that happened to, though. That's pretty wild.
I have a friend that she got pregnant like the month before the wedding, and she's just like,
We're just going to blend it in.
And I blend it all together. The baby was early. What's for dinner? That's the question in my house every single day. Sometimes at breakfast, sometimes at lunch, but usually right around 3 o'clock. What are we having for dinner? Oh my gosh, inevitably we'll order takeout. It's easier, but oh my gosh, it's never satisfying. I feel gross about it, and I spend way too much money. So if you would rather enjoy a home-cooked meal without all that stress of planning ahead, Home Chef makes it really, really easy. I love my meal kits, and being able to have a delicious meal without all that long prep is what drew me to Home Chef over the other guys. Their meals are effortless, even for somebody like me who's not going to go on a competitive cooking show anytime soon. Whether you prefer the classic meal kits, I do. That's what I prefer. They have pre-portioned ingredients, easy instructions, the speedy recipes, sometimes ready in less than 30 minutes. They have oven-ready kits with the pre-chopped ingredients, or you can get these quick microwave meals that assemble in minutes. Home Chef has you and the entire family covered for delicious meals without the hassle. They have over 30 options a week that serves a variety of dietary needs. So you don't have to worry about what to make ahead of time, or this one likes this or this one doesn't like that. Not only is it convenient, but it's economical too. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 a month on groceries. They even have a delicious kid-friendly family menu with 18 new options each week is picky eater approved and takes that stress out of dinner time. So for a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. Yes. And of course, free shipping on your first box. You're going to go to homechef.com/pinkshade. homechef.com/pinkshade for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard it right. homechef.com/pinkshade. You have to be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert. Do it and let me know what you ordered. So, what a miracle. So she says, it's great now because John doesn't live there with them. So as a couple, they have their freedom. We see them feeding Elise, and Patrick is like, what happens? You burp the baby? Like, what? Oh, look at the baby getting that broccoli. I mean, like, he just can't believe it. And that's what you do when you have a baby. It's the two of you just stare at the one baby.
Yeah, and you're shocked. Or the two babies in my case.
In your case, I don't know what you did.
You're just shocked and stunned by the whole thing.
Yeah. This is a baby that I have to make sure stays alive.
Somebody let me take this home from the hospital.
Yeah. So they're talking about the trip to Brazil. And he says this trip was a good chance, to get in better with Thais's dad. And they're very excited because no one there has seen the baby in person yet. And so John comes over, ding dong. He's in town for work, installing alarm systems or whatever is their MLM alarm system.
And I have to wonder, is Megan texting him? Is she calling him? Is he too long on the install? Is she tracking his every moment? I don't know what's happening here.
Let me tell you something. If I was with John, I'd be tracking his every moment too.
So let me ask you this question, because I have a track record of liking really toxic men.
Same.
If you met these brothers, and you and I seem to have similar taste in situations like this. If you met these brothers and you were like 22, which one would you choose?
Oh, John.
100%. I agree.
It would never be Patrick with his work ethic,
with
and
his job and his like respect,
his eating
and
well
honesty.
and work ethic, and wanted to have a career. No,
I want the guy who I'm never going to know where he is, never tells me the truth, borderline alcoholic. That's
all
my
of it.
style.
10 a.m. with a beer, no problem.
Yep.
So, he's gonna and help install some baby gates because they're now at that time where they gotta install the baby gates. So then we get the funniest thing we've ever seen, because we've seen Patrick and Thais on the couch, and now we get Patrick and Thais on the couch with John in the middle.
He's like, meh, good to see you, good to be here.
So funny. So John is engaged now to Megan,
but he's wearing a wedding ring, right?
Oh, I didn't see.
Yeah, he's wearing a wedding ring. So
well,
maybe it's just Megan wants him to put that on if he's going to the installs, because
I'm sure she was like, you too will be wearing an engagement ring.
You know what? It just occurred to me, Mary Payne.
What?
Maybe Megan used to watch Love After Lockup, and she saw what was happening on John and Lacey's installs. On Sean and Lacey.
Oh, Jean and Lacey?
Yes, on their installs. Remember he was doing HVAC and she came over and they made out on somebody's couch?
Yeah.
Maybe she's like, I know what happens at installs.
That Lacey shit's been popping up on my Instagram, and it's all like AI Lacey with like no tattoos and like all airbrushed and stuff. And I'm like,
okay,
come on, girl.
All right.
We know you have a giant rose right above your boob. Where is it?
Yeah, where is it?
Yeah. I don't mind. I don't mind these AI things coming up. It's hilarious. So, okay. So John is engaged to Megan, and Thais is like, how's it going with that? And he goes like, oh, it's great. It's great.
Meh, it's good.
It's good. And Pat and Thais are like, yeah, we had our doubts, but like maybe it's going to be fine. Thank God he's not here anymore, whatever. So John starts asking about he was like, oh, you excited about your trip to Brazil? And they say, yeah. And he goes, yeah, there's a potty. She goes, what?
Potty. You going to see your father.
He goes, I don't know what. He goes, a potty. You have a potty. She looks at Patrick and he goes, a party? We're going to a party? And she goes, oh, yes, there's a party. How do you know? And he goes, I hear things.
He's like, goes, could be fun. That's all I'm saying.
I love parties. Never been to Bunkie Claris. Love parties. And she goes, no. And he goes, I just want to go on the trip to support my brother.
Want to see my father.
Everything he does is just gets more high pitched.
River. I'm a stepfather to River.
Oh God. He goes, I just want to go on the trip to support my brother. And she goes, no, you're not invited. And Patrick goes, let's just let him come. Like, what's the worst can happen? And she goes, I don't care if he invited himself. I don't want him to come. He's a disaster. So they talk a little bit and she's like, fine, he can come, but you're in charge of him. Like, I'm there to see my family and show, you can
Right, like, you
imagine.
think my father hates you now? Bring
Right.
John along.
Yeah. She's like, this is not a bonus. This is not a checkbox on the
No.
right side,
No.
on the pros. And she's like, fine, he can come, but you're in charge of him. Like, I'm in charge of the baby. You're in charge of John. And she's like, my God, I can't get rid of this guy. He's such a pain in the ass. She's learned English and she's really leaning into that pain in the ass. She's thrilled that she's learned that phrase.
I actually messaged John and he responded to me because I went wild when on the Single Life we saw a shot of him in, where was he staying? Like his brother's house, I think. And
Yeah, in Vegas.
in the background was
Yeah.
a replica of the Titanic.
Yes, I saw
And
that.
I had to message him immediately and be like,
Uh-huh.
are you a Titanic fan? Because I think that's the greatest movie ever committed to film.
Okay. All
Which
right.
I know it's not.
No, you're not the only one.
And,
Lots of people think the same.
Move over, Citizen Kane. It's the
Uh-huh.
Titanic.
Yeah.
And he messaged me back and he's like, no, that's my brother's not really into the Titanic, he said to me.
Well, I figured that
And
was
then
the case.
Megan, chimed in. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Megan showed up at your house with a
Sent a
baseball
bomb
bat.
to my house. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're Patrick. Okay, let's go to Ashley and Manuel. They've landed in New York City. She's dancing and singing at the airport. Now, I have to imagine they came from Rochester. They went to New York City. It's probably a couple hours on the plane. And I'm imagining they literally were on whatever was the cheapest, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. flight.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's me at that time of the morning where he's just being a complete jerk. And that's how I am on those early morning flights.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me, especially if you're hungry and tired. No.
God. And she's like, we're in the city. Yeah. He's like, stop. So he says he's very happy that some of his family will get to meet his wife. He's excited to be in New York, not to be confused with Newark.
Mhm.
And he's tired and hungry and sleepy. And she explains to him what hangry is. And they're going to meet his friend Jonathan at a restaurant at 7 p.m. So they've got the entire day. I bet it's literally like 8 or 9 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
So they get to the hotel and she's like, move. I want to have coffee at the coffee maker. You know how he feels about coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't understand it.
Nope.
And so he's like, I just want to leave. I'm hungry. Like, I want to leave the hotel and get some food. I'm so hungry. And she goes, well, we both have to shower. May I make coffee while you shower? And she's like, you're just having a tantrum because you're hungry. Now, he is having a tantrum, but also, like, he's a big dude. Like, he needs to have some food.
Yeah. Listen, you don't get in the way of somebody wanting food when they've just gotten off a flight. I mean, I never felt more empathy for Manuel in this moment.
I'm just like, go to the snack machine or something.
Yeah.
Give him a $5 bill and tell him to get as many snacks as he can.
Can they get room service? But it doesn't look like it might be a hotel with room service.
No, I think it's probably like a Holiday Inn Express or something, but they definitely have vending machines, or they've got a little thing in the lobby where they've got like the little snacks you can buy.
You can go buy the peanuts and a ginger ale.
Somebody get Manuel some food.
Yes.
But now he understands what hangry means. So she goes, well, but while the coffee's brewing, before I get in the shower, while I'm wasting more time, I'm going to read my tarot cards to see if the trip will go well. He's like, oh my God. And he like falls on the couch. And he goes, I am hungry and you don't care. And she says, well, this card is this, and this is upside down, and this is the 4 and the 2 and the upside down, and the knight says this and the 3 things. And it looks like the trip's going to be terrible and no one's going to cooperate with me. And
if only you had control over it. Over how the trip is going to go.
And she stands in the hall when she's supposed to be in the shower and says, I read the cards and they're never, ever, ever, never wrong. Well, that sounds like manifestation to me, girl.
Yeah. She's a dilly-dallier, and I have a real problem with that because I have zero patience for anybody and anything, especially when I'm hangry. Yeah. I would just be on a tear. I would be like, I'm going out to McDonald's down the corner. I'll see you later.
I mean, I don't understand, again, why she didn't just hand him a couple of bucks and say, go find a vending machine. Here's the word for it.
I would destroy a 9-piece chicken nugget in this situation.
I would destroy a bag of Funyuns if I was that hungry. Yes. Anything. So now they're leaving. He's dancing around. He's like, oh my God, we're going to get food. I'm so happy. So they're walking around the streets and they're in Queens in an Ecuadorian area. And he's like, I love this place. Yeah. I want to stay here. And she goes like, I love it too, But don't get too excited because we're not staying here. We can't afford to live in Queens. We're going home in a few days.
There
He's
is
like,
something like really intoxicating when you get out into those boroughs in those neighborhoods. Like it just
yeah,
feels like it's alive in a way that I'm sure Rochester isn't. And I'm not shitting on Rochester. I live in a very similar area though. So I
yeah.
get it.
Well,
Like he probably
sorry.
wants a little more culture in his life.
Yes, and I think
Mhm.
he's reading all the signs of Spanish and the
Yep.
food and
Yep.
everything. Yeah, so we get it. So they go into a restaurant and see Jonathan. She says she met Jonathan in Ecuador, but isn't this the same guy that was with them when they had the bang in the Fuego coffee shop?
Oh, I think it might be.
He looks exactly like the same
He
guy.
looks like the guy. Yeah.
I remember that guy's tattoos and remember the look of horror when they were banging
Yeah.
in the bathroom.
Yeah. It's
So
seared into our memories, as I'm sure
yeah,
that day is seared in his.
I don't.
Have you
I,
ever heard anybody banging?
of course,
Really? I don't know if I
yes.
have ever heard anyone, like, aside from my own noise that I'm creating. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody bang.
Dave and I went a couple of years ago when the kids were at camp. We went to this resort in Mexico,
Mm.
and I can't think of the name of it right now, but it'll come to me by the end of this podcast. And we had sort of like a top floor with a pool that overlooked this bay. It was great.
Mhm.
We were so happy to be there. It was so fucking hot though. You could barely go outside. But we literally walked into our room and we're like, oh, like, look at this. Here's the view. There's a pool out here. And we're, putting our stuff away, hanging our stuff. And the people next door, we heard the door close. They'd come into the room. I go, oh, I guess that, because they have those huge doors at those Mexican resorts, like huge, heavy
Yeah,
wooden doors. So
right.
we heard the door close and we're like, oh, whatever. But we walked out on our balcony. We're looking, we're talking, we're about the room and everything. And when I tell you within 2 minutes of being in that room, the screams and the headboard banging,
Okay.
I mean, I was with Dave. I mean, I was like, this is so embarrassing. He's like, this is embarrassing. We literally like picked up our shit and ran out of the room. We were like, we don't.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
First, we tried to turn on the TV and it wouldn't drown it out.
Mm.
So we're like, let's just put on our flip flops. Let's go to the beach. We're trying to talk really loud so we didn't hear it. And I guess that was their finale bang because they never
Oh,
came back to the room after that. We never heard it again.
yeah.
I was like, no.
Unless they banged and then, like, he had a heart attack or he killed her.
I mean, we were on the top floor, so
We
anything's
don't know.
possible. Drowned her
That's
in the
funny.
pool, whatever. So then I was like so embarrassed, like I was so scared I was going to like see them in the hallway.
Right,
Oh
right.
God! But that's the only time I've really heard anything like that.
I've never really, not that I can think of off the top of my head, really heard it. I don't know.
Um, well, what these cameramen have been through, again, they need
Oof.
hazard pay.
Oof.
So
Jesus.
the sound team is
Mhm.
really
Mhm.
struggling. So they go into the restaurant, they see Jonathan, and they're all happy to see each other. And Jonathan tells them that pretty soon is Ecuadorian Independence Day. This is in August. And Manuel's like, oh, I want to stay for the parade and everything. She goes, yeah, okay, well, maybe we could stay. And he goes like, no, not
Like,
you.
no, not we. Not this is
Just
a me, not a we.
just me and my guys, me and the guys. You don't have to
Mhm.
do everything with me. We don't have to do it together. She goes, well, we're married. And he goes, oh my God, you're so dramatic. You live your life. Let me live mine. But he's laughing about it because he knows
Yeah.
that's like her
Yeah.
button to push. And Ashley tells Jonathan, she was like, I'm trying so hard to be part of Manuel's family, but he doesn't let me in. He's on his phone 24/7 with his family and you, like his friends. And Jonathan goes, he's not on the phone with me.
Yeah, she's
When I
kind of going, he's on the phone 24 hours a day with you, right? Right?
And he goes, no. He goes, when I answer, he doesn't call. And she goes, how often? He goes, usually he does not answer.
Mm.
So she goes, okay, well, if you're not talking to him, then who are you talking to? He's like, oh my God. And then she goes, I feel like you have secrets. And then she goes, Jonathan, does he still talk to the mother of his children? And Jonathan's like, what's the right answer?
Yeah,
And
Jonathan's stalling.
he's stalling. And he goes, no. And Manuel's like, oh my God, you don't trust me or what? And then Jonathan outside says, no, he doesn't talk to her, but I never mentioned that the ex has been asking questions about her. And the producer's like, when did this happen? And he says, after Manuel's wedding, the ex contacted me and wanted to know what was going on.
I don't understand the situation because his children are young, right?
No, I think they're like
Like,
15
aren't
and
they
13.
teenagers? Right, but like
Yeah.
they're under 18.
Yeah.
So like shouldn't he have contact with the baby mama?
Or does he send the money directly on Venmo? Like, I
Right.
don't
Like,
know.
this is weird. Like, I would think my parents are 70 and I'm
Yeah.
46 and they communicate sometimes when they have to.
Yeah.
It's weird. And they're
I don't know.
divorced. Yeah. Strange.
Um, and Manuel says to Ashley, he's like, "You're just jealous. Whatever. It's not cool. It's not cool to say this stuff." And then Manuel says, his talking head, when I sleep, she looks at my phone. The woman is sick.
Mm.
Manuel is funny.
He is. He is.
He is funny. At that tell-all, when he met Clayton, he says, "Clayton, why closet, mommy?"
Yeah.
He says, "The woman is sick." He said, "I need space to talk to my friends and family. And since I have no family and friends around, I have to have a social life on my phone. It's all I ask." But
Yeah.
she's jealous of a phone. Too bad for her. Too bad for her.
And I think that's probably the side of him that she really loves that we don't see a lot.
He's funny.
Yeah.
And I think that the more we get him talking,
Mm-hmm.
the more we see their connection. I mean, when they were in the car and he was asking what towers are nearby, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, or whatever." And by the way, is the Chrysler Building in Chicago?
The
Or is that-
Chrysler building? No,
Uh-huh.
that's in New York. The
Okay, I
Sears
don't-
Tower's in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Listen, all big companies.
Yeah.
Don't ask me smart things on this podcast. My God.
I don't
So,
even know if the answer I just gave you is correct, but I'm sure
okay.
someone will correct me if it's not.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking of like Empire State Building
Mhm.
and then Chrysler Building.
It's
guess I
definitely
just-
in New York. Yeah.
I guess I just don't know what it looks like. I just think of the most famous one being the Empire State Building.
Right.
But it's funny because she's going, "Okay, so Empire." He's like, "Empire." She's like, "State." He's like, "Estado." She's like, "State." And he's like, "Oh."
And then he
She
just
goes,
trails off and stops.
yeah. And she goes, "Building." And he just shakes his head. She goes, "You don't want to do this right now." He's like, "No, I'm so tired and hungry."
It's
like a
that's
little
me.
kid.
That's
A little
totally
kid.
my energy
Yeah.
many days. Yes.
"What's 2 + 4? I don't want to do it." Oh.
Mom, can I
So-
borrow the car to go blah, blah, blah? I just don't want to
Mm.
answer.
I don't know. The
No.
answer's no.
Mm.
So let's go to Sophie and Rob. And they're still having this fight about why she didn't tell him that she briefly dated Callum. Now, everybody's wrong here. Sophie's wrong, Rob's wrong, Kay is wrong, Callum's wrong, everybody's wrong.
Yeah.
The wig is wrong, everybody's wrong.
Callum looks like an actor that I don't know the name, but maybe if I feed you some clues, you can come up with it.
I'm going to tell you who he looks like is Louis Tomlinson from One Direction.
Okay.
Because
He
he's got the
looks
same kind of
like-
wonky teeth. Yeah.
The kid that was in We Are the Millers. Did you ever see that movie?
Nope.
But he was also in the second season of The Bear. So do you remember when the
Okay.
pastry chef went to, I think,
Yes.
Holland, Amsterdam?
Yes. Yes.
And there was that other chef that was helping him.
Yes.
That's the actor. This guy looks just like him.
Ooh.
I can't think of his name, and people are screaming.
Okay, you
But
Google
that's
it while I talk about these two.
Okay.
Second season, The Bear, pastry chef, Amsterdam. They weren't in Amsterdam. They were somewhere else. It was gorgeous wherever it was. So Callum walks up to make sure everything's okay. "Wrong room, Callum. Nobody needs you here."
It's Will
And-
Poulter. Will Poulter.
Polter?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know him.
Yeah. Looks just like him.
Look up Louis Tomlinson. Louis from One Direction. You tell me. So here's what I say about this Callum thing, and you tell me if you agree. Obviously, she has seen him before this. He walked up to the pool party. If you haven't seen somebody, they're coming from another country, and you haven't seen them for a year, you don't
Yeah.
just go, "Hey, what's up? Grab a beer and sit down." Like, you'd be like, "Oh my God, my friend, I'm so happy to see you."
You were correct. I heard this theory, and you are absolutely correct.
There's no way he just walked up, just like, "Hi, good to see you."
No. Mm-mm. They met off camera. They
Yeah.
already probably went to dinner. Everything else.
Totally.
100%.
So Callum walks up to make sure everything's okay. "Wrong room, Callum. Nobody needs your input here." And they're saying they weren't really a thing. They're not really exes. They would never even count it as exes. They just dated brief when they were kids. And Callum goes, "I mean, who hasn't been there? It's just a couple of kisses. We were kids. We were teenagers." And Rob goes, and this is very good for Rob. He's really practicing restraint. He says, "I appreciate your input, but I'm going to keep talking to her, my wife.
Yeah.
You get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
British boy."
The darkest part of me is attracted to Rob. I don't want to be. But he's
Oh, yeah, I
so
could cha-
hot. He's so
I could
hot.
change him.
can't.
I could
Yeah.
change him.
Yeah,
I
I
could
could
change
fix
him.
him. I could change him. I could save him.
Except for those tarantulas. That's pretty much a deal breaker.
Oh, I'm out. And the bats, I'm out.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Um, so Sophie hugs him and puts her head on his shoulder and is like, I'm sorry. I know I messed up. I'm sorry. And he's like, And then on the sidebar, Callum goes, I mean, she looks good. If she wanted to date again, like, I wouldn't say no. Okay, Callum, you're not on this show. Get out of here.
So I have a question for you. Did you say they're at a pool? Because I missed that.
That's a pool party.
Okay, because I was
The
wondering
nighttime
why
pool party.
everyone is wearing bikinis and Rob has his shirt open the entire time. This explains it. Okay.
He arrived at the pool party when it was probably 6 p.m. and then it continues into night. So it makes no sense. Nobody got in the pool
Okay.
and everybody's wearing wigs and lashes. And I mean, no, it's very strange. Um, so Rob's like, I just want to go home. Like, this is, I came to this pool party for you, but this is not it. And so he walks out and they're talking heads. She goes, every time we take like 2 steps forward, we take 3 steps back. Like, I'm really trying. Well, this one's your fault, girl. So the next morning, she tells us that she told Callum she just can't be friends with people she used to date. She's married. She has to respect that. And what she did was wrong by not telling him. And now she goes to meet Rob on a bridge. It's the South Congress Bridge. And every day at sunset, 1,980, that was a very specific number.
So every day at sunset, Amy Archer would be far away from that bridge.
All the bats come out.
Yeah, I would be in a different zip code.
So I don't know why they thought they were going to see it because it's clearly like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
It is like,
I mean, if it's summer, they could probably get that late of a sunset.
It was pitch black dark. There was no light outside.
It was the Sheen version of Carrie Bradshaw and Big meeting on the bridge. Mm-hmm.
It was also the traffic noise reminded me of Garrick's proposal. Will you shoot me?
Mositos.
Hold on. I'll play it for you. Here's what it's supposed to sound like when someone proposes to you in Portuguese. It's supposed to sound like this. It is not supposed to sound like Mosi Posi Dosi. It sounded like
He's such an idiot. Oh.
The chef from from the Muppets.
Yeah.
The chef from the bus. That's what it sounded like. Like
he's an idiot.
So stupid. Okay, I got real excited. I moved my notes over. Okay. I'm never gonna stop playing that.
One thing I do want to point out is when Rob and Sophie are talking in the restaurant or pool party, whatever, before he walks out on her, his shirt is fully open. And then he turns to leave and his shirt is fully buttoned. So we missed a lot of that conversation.
He buttoned his shirt in anger. You don't get to see this. Nah.
He also has weird chest hair that's like in a little circle right in the middle of his chest.
Oh, God. What does Keisha call that? Oh, his taco meat. That's what Keisha calls it. It's so gross.
Jesus Christ, Keisha.
I was like, she's not wrong. Okay. So I miss Keisha, guys. She'll be back next week for Love During Lockup. We're so excited.
Good.
So the bats don't come out because it's 10 o'clock at night. And he says things like bats don't scare him. What scares him is Sophie because she has such a hold on him. He knows it's unhealthy. Well, you're married. And she's got to do something quickly to make up for this lie, So he's so happy that Sophie has done something wrong.
I know.
And it's not all on him. He's so like, well, you fucked up, girl. What you gonna do?
And this whole like, you need to make this up to me is fucking gross. And that is not a mature relationship.
And it's very much like, you're coming home or we're going to bang. So
yeah.
As they're walking to look at the bats, he makes a dig at her. Like, can't believe you hadn't done this before. You've done everything else in Austin, like when she was away. And she goes, we could do stuff together, So she apologizes for not telling him the whole extent of her friendship with Callum, that they did date when they were teenagers. And she says, I should have thought about how you would feel about it. He says, it's hard for me to believe that you consider me at all. And she says, I do. And I'm going to prove it. I'm proving it to you by telling you, I told Callum that we can't be friends if it's not okay with you. I have to consider you first. And he says, well, this is the first thing you've said in a long time that makes me think maybe there's hope. And she says, I'm here with you. I'm trying. And then he says, when are you coming home? And she says, tomorrow. He says, that's all I want. I just want you to. Why she can't come tonight? I don't know.
Yeah, she has to go out and hang out with Calvin one more night.
Yeah, and hang out with Kay, whatever's happening there with their best friends forever blanket.
How old is she, Mary Payne? Do we know?
Who, Sophie?
Yeah, you usually have this stuff.
Sophie's 24.
So I was wondering, like, why is Rob making such a big deal out of this? But when you think about 24, like, your teenage years aren't that far in the distance.
He's 33.
No, but like
Yeah.
for Sophie.
Right.
Like, so she had this romance with whatever, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. That's not that long.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, maybe that's what was going on. I don't know. I don't know. He's an idiot, but whatever. He's hot. And I'm looking at him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in the talking head, he says, it makes for a good night that she's coming home. Like, I'm glad that it, came this way. Sad we didn't see the bats. And they're in their little talking head and they kiss and they say they're going to try to do better, but nobody has any high hopes for these two. All right. So let's go to who we're going to end with, which is the worst couple to ever grace our television. And that says a lot.
Wow.
It's Nicole and Mahmoud.
Wow.
So Mahmoud has not even been there 2 days. They've already threatened divorce, threatened to leave.
Like 10 times.
10 times. Mm-hmm. Mahmoud doesn't look well. He looks like he's molting in front of our eyes. He looks like he has scurvy.
He does.
He's not.
He looks almost like he's got a Florian vibe to him.
Yes.
Yes.
He looks ill. So Nicole goes to dinner with her friends and lets them know that Mahmoud is not coming. Now, here's what I'll tell you about that dress. When we saw it last week, the whole back was open.
Yeah.
So she had that little thing at the top tied, and it was all the way open to.
But now she has it buttoned.
She has it buttoned. So I think that if I can recall, because I don't normally take notes on them, Kimberly does, so I only half pay attention.
Right.
But I believe she came in and said, "Will you help me button my dress?"
Okay.
And that's when he got mad. So he didn't see what it looked like buttoned, and maybe it would have been more presentable. Because she does have on like colored tights and shoes, so everything is covered except for those little spots on her back.
Right.
She was less covered at the airport.
Right.
So she's like, "Yeah, he's not coming. He's not coming." And they're like, "What?" And she goes, "No, he's really not coming." So we meet her friend Leslie, who she's known for a decade. Olga, it was spelled with an H, but she pronounces it Olga from the Ukraine, and her husband, Julian. Olga and Julian, if they are a 90-day fiance situation, they are the best looking 90-day fiance people you've ever seen.
We need a little bit of them.
Yeah. They're attractive and seem to love each other.
Yeah.
Literally, we saw them for 2 seconds. They can be horrible. So
true.
She goes, "Yeah, Mahmoud said he wants a divorce because of my dress." Yeah. Yeah. Can you believe it?
She just throws him right under the bus. Have you not, or you clearly have not dated many toxic men whom you've had to lie for, like I have. You get to learn this pattern.
You say, he just couldn't come. He didn't feel well.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not his feeding time yet. He's like Florian. He has to go out and feed.
Yes. So Julian goes, "Well, then why didn't you just change your dress?" She's like, "I just told him I'm going to wear what I want, and I laid down the law, and I put my foot down, and we're in my country." And he seemed to understand this, but then he said he's going to divorce me over this dress. And they're like, "Stand up, let me see this dress." She's like, "See?" And they're all shocked about this, right? Because she's not giving the whole story.
No, of course she's not.
She's making it look like, he is horrible, but she's also horrible.
Right. They're both horrible. I can't decide which one, is less horrible.
Yeah. So, Julian says, "So you're just going to give up after 2 days? Like, you're not giving it any time to acclimate." And Olga says she understands this because she came from the Ukraine. It's a whole different experience. Everything is different in this culture. And Julian says he needs to live this life a little bit and understands the new normal. Like, you can't just give up after 2 days. You need to give him some time. And Julian's like, "I'll take him out as a guy. I can show him the ropes." Mahmoud does not want this. No, he doesn't want this guy.
I'd be here for that. I want to see it. But
no. She needs to find him a mosque where he can find some friends right away.
Sure.
I mean, they're in Los Angeles. He's going to be able to find like-minded people right away.
Yes.
So Nicole says, "Yeah, I mean, talking to Julian and Olga and Leslie is giving me some hope." And they're all like, "Can we come over and meet him?" And she was like, "Sure, yeah,
Okay.
why not? What
tip.
could go wrong?"
Pro tip. When you have a sulky spouse or sulky boyfriend or girlfriend or whomever at home,
Mm-hmm.
do not bring your drunk friends over. I've done
Nope.
this. It always goes wrong. Always.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're not as cute as you think you are. You're
Nope.
not
Nope.
as
Nope.
funny as
Nope.
you think you
Nope.
are.
The night is not as fun as you think it is. You're just drunk.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
So she goes, yeah. So they all get in different Ubers to head to her apartment. And she says, yeah, I'm kind of worried about his mood with this kind of springing this on him. But, my friends, want to come and meet him. And I have to show, like, what did she say? Hospitality. I can't be
She could call or
rude.
text him and give him a heads up.
I was hoping that's what she was doing in the car, but I think
Nope.
he's just like, I think he's turned his phone off. He's like, no.
Maybe.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. So, um, she says, hi, Mahmoud, my friends are here. You want to come out and meet them? And he's sitting on the bed and he's like, why are they here? He's sitting in the bed again. Looks like he has scurvy. This looks like a Downton Abbey lady who's about to die. He is
He's
just
like the
like,
Titanic lady in her bed.
yes,
It's been 84 years. Yes.
yes, he looks horrible. So the friend Leslie's like, well, he won't come out. I'm gonna come to him. She's like, woo!
I almost died when she's a woohoo girl, and I almost died when she jumped in over the bed with him.
She jumped over the bed and he jumps up because he's like, what is this lady in my bedroom? And they hug and she's hugging him. She's forcibly hugging him. And he's like, oh, okay, okay.
Okay, get off.
No,
me,
no,
get
no,
off
no,
me.
no. So he keeps pretending that he's like falling asleep while he's standing up, which was a funny move to make, right? And so they're all like, can we have drinks? She's like, sure. So she pulls out some
Well,
tequila,
no, that was
some
the
vodka.
producers are like, okay, now's the time to ask for the alcohol that she
Yeah.
has hidden in the house. And the husband, what's his name?
Julian.
Julian's like, may I have some alcohol, please? And Nicole's like, yes, let me get it from the hidden freezer. Like,
If
it's
you
so
know
weird.
me, I like tequila. Oh, I happen to have all the makings for a soda with a lime. So she pull out the drinks, and Mahmoud says he had no idea there was alcohol in the house.
He never opened that freezer.
And he says, I think what she's doing is too much. I'm not American. This is too much. And I gotta say, I think he's right.
And the mannequin stares blankly by,
I know.
just
I know.
judging.
Just, yep. And she says, I did feel uncomfortable getting the alcohol out in front of him. And no, he didn't know it was there. But it's part of my culture to be hospitable. And when somebody comes in, like you offer them a drink.
Mhm.
Nobody has anywhere to sit, but there's like a loom and a mannequin and one bed. There's like no couch. It's like
Natalie's dinner party when Josh has on the bed.
yes, because there's no space in this. She's a dressmaker. Like she needs all this space. So the friends are like, cheers, woo, welcome. He's like, uh-huh. And she goes, can I make you a tea or something? He goes, no. So they're all saying like, so happy to meet you. It's so amazing. Welcome to the States. And he's being as nice as he can, looking like he has scurvy against the wall. And he's pretending like he's like falling asleep standing up, but he's being polite. And then he goes, yes, okay, it's so nice to meet you. And Nicole goes, you're a fucking liar. You tell the truth. I was like,
She
whoa.
just went. Phew. Well, you
Whoa.
could see the rage building in the moment, and she's like, "Here I am." Mahmoud is like all smiles and giggly. First of all, no, he's not.
No, he's not.
Second of all, she's like, "My friends are gonna think that I lied to them." No, they're not. They're gonna
No.
think this is how adults behave.
Pretending.
Yes, just pretending.
Pretend.
That's what we do.
Wow. And she
So
goes, you're a
weird.
fucking liar. You tell the truth.
And Julian goes, "Whoa."
And he goes, yes, do we have a little fight? We had just a little fight. She goes, oh, yeah, just a little fight where you threatened divorce over a dress? And he goes, okay, I'm going to go now.
That's
so he starts to head into the bedroom.
Isn't it? Like so reductive. Like you threatened divorce over a dress. That's not what this is about.
And he goes, okay, I good to see you. Good night. And he heads into the bedroom. She goes like, you hateful little shit. Like, wow.
Jesus Christ.
And she is like, I mean, she is like, I'm going to unbutton the back of this dress so fast. Yeah. Wow. So that's the end of that love story. Thank God we didn't have to see Ed and Liz. Praise Jesus. So we don't know if we're getting Angela and Michael.
I don't think
know.
we are.
We are on episode 5. But we just got Patrick and Thais episode 5.
Well, they had to wait until the single life ended though for that.
Well, I
I
guess.
think, because John's timeline with him being engaged to Megan.
Well, single life's still not over. We're still watching the fucking tell all.
Well,
So,
that's true. My theory at first was that Angela is kind of, unfortunately, one of the legacy people in this franchise, right? So
uh-huh.
she might just be on like 2 or 3 episodes and they might just throw her in at the end. But now I'm wondering if they cut her. I don't know.
The clips that we saw, she was going to be in Nigeria. He was going to be here. We
Mhm.
see him arriving. We see her in Nigeria getting mad about some bitch doing something.
Of course.
Um, to me, it seemed like they were filmed extensively in 2 countries.
I'll be glad to not see her if that's
Yeah.
the case. Yeah.
Look and see in the past how many episodes we've had of Happily Ever After. How many episodes were there
Oh,
of Happily Ever
probably.
After season 7? That'll give us an indicator of how many episodes there will be of this. And maybe we can then predict what's going to happen.
Okay.
TLC Contact will not tell me anything.
I
They
know.
ignore
I
that. They
tried
ignore
as
that
well.
question when I ask.
So this is season 8, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So let me look. So season 7 had, oh no, you're not going to like this answer. 21?
Shoot me.
4-part
Stop.
tell-all. It had a 4-part tell-all. So there were 17 episodes of the regular season and then
Oh, God.
tell-all 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, well, if there were 17 regular episodes, I bet they're going to give us 18 regular episodes. And Angela and Michael are definitely coming because we're only on episode 5.
Now, season 6 was much different. There were only 17 episodes and only a 2-part tell-all.
That's not much different. That's exactly the same minus 2 tell-alls.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't look good for us, Mary Payne.
All right. I'll break
Although
the
there
bad
is an
news to
episode,
Kimberly.
there's an episode coming up called "The Itsy Bitsy Liar," and then there's an episode coming up called "Humpty Dumped Me." And guess what? I don't
Do you
see
think that means
Angela written in any of these descriptions.
do you think that means they're talking about Ed because he looks like Humpty Dumpty? Let's be honest.
Probably.
Okay, I'm just came
Probably.
up with a great idea for a meme. Okay. If only I knew how to do it. Okay. Next time on 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Lauren and Alexi. Forgot they were supposed to be on, but they're getting introduced in episode 6.
I'm glad to see them.
I am too, but here's the thing. You know, I don't understand the Israel, Gaza, Palestine. Don't ask me. I don't understand. I know it's been going on since the Bible. Okay. That's all I know. Um, I don't know what side is what. I don't know what it's about. It's about a strip of land, the Gaza.
Right.
This is all I know.
Right.
All I know is Alexi is from Israel,
Mm-hmm.
born there. That is his country.
Mm-hmm.
And he has some real hot takes that people really, really hate.
Yeah, look, I stay out of this. I'm like, I let people who know what's going on talk about it. I kind of know what's happening in the current situation, but I do not share my opinion because I am not well educated in this area.
I'm not either. And I did tell Kimberly, since she's covering with me and she is Jewish, that she could decide to look at their social media. And if she doesn't want to cover them, that's fine with me. And she's like, I don't speak for all Jewish people. I was like, I know that, but
Right.
you are a Jewish person and this is the situation. So
Right.
she's going to check it out and tell me. She's sort of the same opinion I am. I just cover what's on our television. And if they're problematic, like Ed and Liz last week were like, Ed and Liz went to a barbecue. He held a plate that was sagging with food and talked to the mom and she got a dress. Oh, we just covered them like in bullet points.
So let me speak to that for 1 second, if I may.
Yes.
I cover Ed and Liz when I did Last Resort.
Right.
Because I feel like too many casual viewers who see Ed and Angela as the face of this franchise, by us not reading him for the filth he is, we're doing a disservice to those people. Like, I think that they need to know what trash he is. So I talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just
I'm just sort of like, it's like Kim from Cray Cray was saying, like, if we don't cover the people that are problematic, what are we watching now?
Right. Right.
We're watching Patrick and Thais.
Right. If somebody does something horrific, like Jeffrey with his assault charges.
He's currently in prison.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have really, but Ed is not going to escape my wrath, is how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Lauren and Alexi, they have their daughter's first birthday party. Her name is Ariel, and she has a friend or someone, it might be her sister, saying to her, Lauren, you don't have one stretch mark, one piece of cellulite, and then you're getting lipo. And she's like, I want to be confident. Like, I've had these 3 kids back to back to back. And her mom says, oh, God forbid something should happen. But Lauren, very famously, after her second kid, and while she was pregnant with the third kid, when she was on Pillow the whole time, was like, I'm getting this mommy makeover.
Yeah.
She has said she's doing it. And a lot of people want to do that. And I think if that makes you feel good,
Hey,
and
do what makes you feel good.
Likely she didn't pay for the whole thing because she got it sponsored or whatever, because she did post a lot about it. Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. I don't judge anybody who wants to do that. So.
I don't judge anybody for doing that. And I hope no one judges me for not doing it and looking like a washed up bag over here.
You don't look like a washed up bag, but now I've got the thought in my mind again of a meatball on 2 toothpicks. Oh, God, you're so funny. Okay. Patrick and Thais are in Brazil, and they call Carlos, which is hot dad. Thais is hot dad. And he says, hello, you little bastard.
I'm here for this. I'm here for it.
And not in a John way.
No.
Hello, you little bastard. Not like that.
Nope.
But hello, you piece of shit. I hate you, who married my daughter.
Yes.
And Patrick's like, wow. He's already calling me names.
Yeah.
Great.
Didn't go good.
Kay and Sophie meet, and Kay wants to know, like, are anything's better from when you stay with me? Are you having sex? And Sophie says, no, it's been months. And Kay says,
months.
Red flag.
She's 24 and it's been months.
And Kay says, red flag. She says, I think there's something going on with him downstairs.
Well, I mean,
How's Rob going to take that?
Yeah.
It's going to not go.
We can't make that judgment, but
we don't
24, a few months is a long time to be in a committed relationship and not have sex when you're in your 20s. You should be banging it out like those people next door to you in Mexico.
But she also moved out for 3 months. So let's give it a minute.
True.
Okay? Also, there's tarantulas in the house. It might
true.
ruin your libido.
One might get out of the cage if you're naked and compromised.
He has them kind of in a double cage situation, but I don't trust it. And they each have them in their own little box, which I'm like, is that how they're supposed to be? Shouldn't they be in a big terrarium?
I don't know.
Okay. That's the one problem I have with my queen, Billie Eilish. She does have a pet tarantula.
Yeah.
And she has a video of it crawling in and out of her mouth.
No.
Billie, I love you. I'm so excited for your new album, but I can't get down with that.
That gives me chills.
I'll send you a picture later.
No, don't.
Okay. So Emily and Kobe talk, and she's asking him about this ex-girlfriend and the situation, what his friends say. And he says, we've only been here a couple of days, and she's using this as an opportunity to dig into my past, which is exactly what the friends wanted. They wanted to make her look like the bossy, pompous bad guy.
Yep.
And they brought it up and told her this voluntarily.
Yeah. Yep.
She never said, tell me about some ex. Give me the
Not
tea.
at all. Not at all.
They were just like, we were so surprised he went and got this white lady pregnant in China because he had this girlfriend.
Right.
A woman that would not be pompous like you.
And they didn't even seem to, like, when they spilled the secret, be like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have said that. Like, they were just happy to share this information.
They were like, you're not the only one he's ever been with. So anyway, hopefully, I think the two of them have a great relationship. And I think that they'll discuss it. It's going to be fine. So I wrote, Liz and Ed, who cares? But a few nights ago, they get in a fight and she wakes up and he's gone. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, they're toxic. They are toxic as all hell. So they need to be away from each other. But
Kimberly says she thinks in real time they got married, but they are since separated.
I'm pretty sure they did get married.
And that now he's still in Arkansas trying to run this, whatever he's trying to do. And that she's now back in San Diego or whatever.
Did you watch Last Resort last season when he did the past life regression and he says he was a leprechaun and a court jester?
You have to stop it right now. No, I did not.
Swear to God. Yeah.
Well, that tracks. Okay. Whatever he was a misogynist, a piece of shit, whatever he was. Yeah. So Mahmoud tells Nicole's buddy Julian that he says, look, here's the thing. She's not right for me and I'm not right for her. And that's just the way it is.
And he's right. Ding, ding, ding. Yes.
Yeah. He packs his bag. Julian tries to stop him and Nicole cries in a weird dress.
And it
So
seems
this
like there's a confrontation when he's trying to get out the door and Julian's trying to stop him, like physically.
is this all Nicole is still in the same dress? Like this is all happens when she brings her friends over to get drunk?
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know either. They're horrible. Why are
I
they
have a
together?
I have a question for you, and
Okay.
just, trigger warning for anybody listening. We know there were DV charges, right, that were dropped.
They were dropped, yeah.
Do we know the details of that? Like, was it against her? Was she the one? Like, or did
No, it
this
was against
happen in the
him.
fight with? But like, was it him and her?
The two of them had an altercation and the
Okay,
charges were against him, but the charges were dropped. It doesn't matter if she decided to drop him or not. When it comes to
right,
DV, um, the arresting officer decides.
right.
So she
Okay,
doesn't get to say, I'm going to drop it. Like he didn't do anything. It's not up to her.
right.
So it was investigated and decided there was no need for it.
Because it seems like there's a scuffle here, and I didn't know if it was something that emanated out of this situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, could be. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I haven't done enough investigation into this season
Okay.
because um I just call it as I see it as it's on my screen.
Yeah, I like to
And
do that too.
and the listeners aren't like thrilled us talking about how much we hate HEA. So I'm just going to say it's
I
not
don't.
my favorite iteration.
Yeah, I don't hate HEA. It's just some of the couples. Like, do we really need to bring them back? Like, I could name you 10 couples I'd rather see.
Me too. And this
Yeah,
is what our whole thing is. Let us miss them a little bit.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
let us like we miss Emily and Kobe. We hadn't seen them in a while,
Like
other than
Lauren
like
and
pillow talk.
Alexi. Like, I'm interested to see what's going on with them. I haven't seen them in a while.
Patrick and Thais, we haven't seen them in a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
So I'm
And hey,
excited to see them.
I welcome John at all times.
We always welcome John, but we just Jasmine and Gino. It's just been back to
Mm-mm.
back to back to back to back, and you know that after this they're putting them on Last Resort. You know they are.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You
Yep.
don't- In the words of Lisa Kudrow, I don't need to see that.
Right.
You guys, did you watch the comeback? Best show ever. All right, tell me what's happening over there on Little Miss Recap, Amy's podcast, guys.
Oh, so Little Miss Recap, we're doing Married at First Sight, which is
Hmm.
wild this season. That's
Okay.
wrapping up. It's absolutely wild.
Okay.
And
Are people married?
well, there's a whole thing. There's a whole thing. The guys supposedly came up with this ruse of trying to control the narrative and lying, and the girls were in on it with them, and everybody's accusing everybody else of lying, and the experts are pissed off. It's a whole thing. It's
Wow.
wild. So
Wow.
that's wrapping up. We're doing what else? Seeking Sister Wife, we do.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
we're doing Sister Wives. We're going back to Sister Wives. So we paused our rewatch
No,
when
because you were doing. I was like, it's not currently on.
when
Yeah.
Garrison
Okay.
passed, we paused our rewatch. So we had done
Okay.
season 1, but we didn't do season 2 yet. So we're going back to that, and that's going to be in May, and I'm very excited. And then we're doing do you ever watch Virgin River?
No. These are the shows that you like that I think involve like cowboys
We're
and ye
doing
old
Virgin
timey.
River. No, Virgin River is like the modern day, like it has the sweetness and the cheesiness of like Little House on the Prairie.
Okay.
Like it's a
But it's
feel
called Virgin
good,
River. Is it
right?
about virgins? Or what's
No,
happening?
no, the river is called Virgin River, which
Well, it's a provocative
yeah.
title.
So we're doing that. We do some documentaries too. So
Well,
whatever.
what else? What else? What do you got going on your Patreon?
Well, that's where we're doing our Sister Wives rewatch, and we
Oh,
did a couple of cult docs, and we just did Daughters of the Cult. Did you see that one?
no. Is it how many parts? If something
It's
has more than 3
5
parts, I have to drop out. I have to
It's
drop.
5 parts. It's so interesting though because it's about Ervil LeBaron, who was like
Who?
this crazy cult leader who
Okay.
had like a bunch of other cult leaders killed, including his brothers. It was really interesting.
What? I'm writing
Mhm.
it down. Daughters of
The
the
cult.
Cult.
It's really interesting. And Christine Brown from Sister Wives is a descendant of his and of Rulon
Wow.
Allred, so she's kind of like polygamy royalty because she's descended from the two most
Well, remember the
famous,
Allreds were
infamous.
also the
They were
Allreds
on
the first season of
yes,
Seeking
Seeking
Sister
Sister
Wife.
Wife. Yep.
I wanted to tell you another Netflix thing that I really was going to try to get into, and then I saw it was 8 parts, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just see if Keisha wants to do this on the side. No, it's called
Is it
Unlocked.
Unlocked?
Yes,
Yes,
8,
I want to watch it too.
but it's 8 parts, Amy.
I know. I want to
It
watch it though. I'm
hurts.
so fascinated by that kind of stuff, like prison reform and all of
Yes.
that. I really want to see it. Yeah,
I've
I'm gonna
written
watch it.
I've written to my lifetime contact
Mm-hmm.
to find out if it is true because Gypsy Rose has announced she's doing Life After Lockup Gypsy Rose. But on Lifetime, which we know Life After Lockup is on
Oh,
WeTV,
yeah. How dare you,
and
Gypsy
and
Rose?
they're not on the same network, right? They're not
Right.
owned by the same company. So
Right.
it's not
No.
even like it would be like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I wrote to my Lifetime person that I have the contact with from Prison Brides. And I was like, hey, I will be dying for screeners. If it's true, whatever. Crickets.
Mm.
So I'm like,
Okay. Do you
I'm
think
gonna look.
Prison Brides will come back?
Yeah, I do.
Hmm.
I'm literally looking to see if I got anything. No, nothing
Oh,
back
we're
from them.
doing MILF Manor. Are you doing MILF Manor?
Fuck
Yes,
yeah,
of
of
course. Oh my
course.
God. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
And then, of course, after whenever Single Life is finally done, we'll be into Love in Paradise,
Yeah. Yep.
which generally I call Caribbean Love because I can never remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But now I'm remembering that if I just call it Lip,
Lip.
I'll remember Love in Paradise. Are you guys
Yeah.
covering that?
We are. We do like you guys do the big shows like HEA and the OG, and we
Yeah.
do the little offshoots. So we're
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for me, I do anything
You
that has
do
the word 90
all of
days,
it. Yes. Yes.
except for Last Resort. I didn't do
But
it.
you know what? There's something to that because then you at least know all the pieces. Like I
Yeah.
realize that even though I don't cover the big shows, I have to watch them or there's a gap.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
because everybody goes to all the other
Right. Like
shows.
when they come on, when Gino and Jasmine are on Last Resort, I'm going to need to know their entire story leading up to that to fully understand the dynamic.
God, please don't put Nicole and Mahmoud on Last Resort. Please don't.
I heard
What will he
Stacey and
do?
Florian are going to be on it.
All right.
I will be there with bells on, waiting
I'll
for
take
that to
it.
happen.
I'll take it.
And if Michael Benz shows up, I will head explodes. Because I told you I think he's Daddy Silva's secret child.
That's a great theory. They're all from, help me remember where they're
I
from.
can't remember it. I
They're
know
all
what you're
from the same
yeah.
island.
Mm-hmm. And that's why they bonded with Michael Benz. And Daddy Silva's real fond of Michael Benz.
Mm-hmm.
And they do treat Michael Benz like a brother. They're not trying to get him into their lair. So
Yeah.
it's
a great theory. It's a great theory.
Are you loving Seeking Sister Wife this season?
So good.
It's
And
the
then
best show ever.
the rumors that Danielle had a baby in September.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we going to? And then the rumor also is that what we're going to see this season, she leaves him. She's finally had it with his shit and leaves him, but then falls pregnant, as my mother would say, and has to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be a terrible twist if she finally has to leave him and then has to go back?
Oh God. Okay.
And then the Salahudin's like, no.
Well, when does Seeking Sister Wife air? Is that Monday nights?
Yes.
So by the time people hear this episode, that will have aired. So I can say in this upcoming episode, jump ahead if you don't want spoiler, guys.
Okay.
Garrick leaves to go to Brazil for like a month.
Good for him.
And she's home alone. So I wonder if that's when she falls pregnant, like when she finds out she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
They have like a big fight and then he goes.
He goes on a month-long bang trip?
Yep.
Wow.
As you do when you have 2 children and a wife and a company.
So easy. Everybody can do that. Everybody, you make sure to follow Amy. Her podcast is Little Miss Recap wherever you get your podcast. And also you can follow her on the Instagram at Little Miss Recap. Is it the same on the TikTok?
Yep.
Yep. Or is it Amy and Friends?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever. I made a TikTok that took me 17 hours the other day and I was like, okay. And I got like 2 followers from it.
I know. I follow you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Everybody go follow Amy and listen to her podcast. It's great. And please, as always, I'm out here hoarding myself out, begging every single minute. Who do I have to talk to
Get
to
your
get
wife,
Instagram
get your
followers?
kids, get them all on Instagram.
Get your dog, get your business. Please follow. I'm about 9,600 now and just trying to get to that 400 more for the
Oh, you know what? I
2,000.
have to tell my girls to follow you. They don't follow you. I'll tell them.
Please, that's 2 more.
Okay.
Do they have Finstas? Tell them to follow that too. Tell them to follow. I don't
Probably.
care. I won't
They're
look.
probably on OnlyFans. I don't even know. So who knows?
Oh, okay, Amy. It was great to talk to you. Thanks for doing this with me.
All right, Mary Payne, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.